So in this video I'm going to show you how to edge, and this particular one is a bookmark, so you can see that I have already sort of started doing some edging. So like I've shown, if you've seen in one of my other videos, how you start a new colour of wool. So you're going to thread your wool through stitches that you have already done, but make sure you're going the right direction so that your thread comes out to the edge. So I'm just putting the tail of that wool and then hanging on to it with my finger, and then you're going to go through your first hole. Now sometimes this gets quite tight because you've got sort of lots of wool going through, so you can see that I've pulled it through. And now what we're going to do is pull it round the back. So you can see that I've just with my nail just pulled back that side stitch so I can see where my needle needs to go. So from the front I'm wrapping my needle round to the back and then pulling through the thread. So I'm actually sort of wrapping the edge of that canvas so that you can see it's going around. Oops, I've got my scissors caught up in my wool. Note to self, make sure that your desk is clear. So you continue. So this one is where it gets quite tight because you've already got two sort of thicknesses of wool going through the hole. So you do need to sort of push it through, and it might take a bit of a wiggle to pull it through. And then with my nail you can see I've pulled back that thread, so I'm pulling it through. And you continue this process while you're going up the side. If you want to, you can, if you want to, change your colour and a bit sort of as you go through. Sometimes your wool might get sort of knotted, and it's just with the length and the tail sort of getting caught up. So just don't carry on pulling, just sort of stop, put your needle down and then undo your knots. But you can see where I've got that two other colours going through, it's a bit tight. So you can see it just knots up. So you just need to sort of loosen it up and then pull it through. The wool's quite strong, so you can tug quite hard. You just don't want to get additional knots in your wool. So you're going to carry on going through each of the holes and pulling through. And it just gives this really nice clean edge to your canvas. This is a similar process if you were sort of joining bits of canvas together as well. This is how you would stitch through. But as you can see, and this is something also note, what you don't want to do is to put your needle through the strands of wool. You want to make sure that you come through sort of on a clean edge, because otherwise you're going to split the wool, because the wool is made up of different strands. So you want to carry on threading through. Again, that's why I pull the wool to one side to make sure that you're not splitting the wool. And look, I have created myself a knot there. So when you do get a knot like this, just be patient. Don't tug at it, don't pull at it. You just need to sort of tease it, unknot it, because otherwise you'll have a whole lot of problems of sort of then trying to undo it. But you can see I've just teased it open so that you're not going to get an issue. It's just gently doing it, and there you go, the knot's gone. So it's about being patient and not tugging at it, because then you'll cause a whole host of problems. So then you can just sort of carry on going. As you can see, I'm just sort of holding the edge of the wool to keep it out of the way on my hand with the needle. It just helps so that you're not going to get in a tangle. So this video is to show you how to do the corner. When you're edging your canvas, you can get to the corner, but you want to try and cover up where the sort of any of the canvas. So you're going to have to sort of thread through multiple times with your edging colour. So it does get quite tight, and you do have to tug the wool through. So I've gone through once and wrapped round the back on one edge, and then I'm doing exactly the same process, but then making sure that my loop goes across the top edge. And as you can see, and then I can carry on and carry on along that top edge, but you can see it's getting sort of quite tight now. But so for the corner, you're going sort of through and back round on the corner section, and now you're carrying on and going along the top, so you can see you just want to make sure that you're covering the top edge. And then to finish off your wool, you're going to thread your needle through the stitches that you've already done to make sure that it looks as neat as possible. So pulling that through, and then you're just going to, I'm sort of making it to make sure that it's all secure, so through one set of stitches and then back through the other, to make it nice and neat. And then you can trim it off, and then you've got perfect edging. So you can see now that it looks all good. So if you sort of see a bit of canvas, you can just sort of neaten it up and push your wool around the edge, so it looks good.